Jalen and Jacoby is presented by Grey Goose.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
We have so much show today. James Harden turning down $50 million a year, saying he wants to go to Brooklyn. Chris Paul going to the Suns, and NBA prospect Tyrese Maxey will be joining us, but we start in Milwaukee, where they have upgraded the roster in hopes of retaining Giannis Antetokounmpo. What did they do? They moved Bledsoe to New Orleans and a bunch of picks to bring back Jrue Holiday. Then they weren't done. They brought in Bogdan Bogdanović for Wilson, Ilyasova, DiVincenzo, and others. Jalen, if you are Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're looking at all these moves they've made. Are you ready to sign the dotted line?
There's no reason for me to sign the dotted line this offseason. It's basically going to be the same money next season. And the Bucks did do a terrific job of upgrading their team. However, the Bucks had the best record in the NBA the last 2 seasons. Also, they have the reigning back-to-back MVP. So what's going to change? What's going to change now is Holiday at the point gives you a consistent and better scorer than Bledsoe and a better playmaker. But more importantly, the last 3 years in the playoffs, Eric Bledsoe just bombed. You remember a guy named Scary Terry? They were showing up to basketball games wearing a Bledsoe jersey. That was during the playoffs. The last couple of years, it has continued to get worse for Eric. So based on that, they needed to move him. You get Bogdanović. He's basically a high 30% three-point shooter. He's going to spread the floor. This now gives the Bucks, on paper, their legitimate opportunity to live up to their regular season promise. But the teams around them are getting better too. Because we saw Doc Rivers is with the Celtics. Doc Rivers is with the Sixers. The Celtics still have Jaylen Brown. They still have Jason Tatum. What's going to happen at their point guard spot? But for Milwaukee, this is their solidified opportunity to make the NBA Finals.
They did this just for Giannis. They didn't surprise Giannis with any of these moves. And you know what this? I'm scared, Jalen. I'm terrified. I'm terrified that Giannis Antetokounmpo signs the deal this summer instead of waiting until next summer, because there's no motivation to do so, like you said. Why would he do it now when he can wait? Because they've always had a nice roster. They've always won a ton of regular season games. They always have. The problem isn't winning games, it's winning playoff series, and they've always had trouble with that. Is it the system that Coach Bud runs with their gimmicky defense? Maybe it's that. Is it playoff performance like Eric Bledsoe? Maybe they can change that. But if I'm Giannis, you still need to audition for me. I won the MVP this year. I won the MVP last year. You still need to show me not just that you can upgrade at a couple positions, that we can win championships, that we can win the Eastern Conference, and then I will sign an extension after that. Now, there's another thing to this too, Jalen Rose. They've upgraded, but did they upgrade that much? Take a look at the difference between Jrue Holiday and Eric Bledsoe. Just purely the numbers, okay? What does this tell you?
It tells me that there is an upgrade there offensively. That's the key, Jacoby. And consistency, because you hope Holiday's going to play better in the playoffs than Bledsoe has done. But this is a perfect example of why when you're a small market team and you cultivate young talents like Malcolm Brogdon, once you develop them, you should sign them. When you let them go to Indiana for a check, now you're spinning your wheels and you're giving up players that are fairly comparable for basically the same compensation package that the Pelicans got for Anthony Davis. They have 3 first-round picks, Jacoby. So, in other words, when you're doing a deal like that, you're on the phone with Giannis. Like, what do you think? Do you like it? Do you care about 1 pick? Do you care about 2 picks? Do you really care about the 3rd pick? And then when you do the deal, you're doing this for an audience of 1. This ain't for the fans. This ain't for the media. This ain't for the coaching staff. If Giannis feels like these are the moves that you need to make in order to improve the squad and keep him there, that's what you do. But based on those stats you just put up there, and that's why you can't necessarily judge players by numbers, they're fairly comparable. However, here's going to be the difference. When the Milwaukee Bucks have a top record this year, along with the Nets, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Raptors play great regular season basketball, the Miami Heat, you know what's going to happen? They're going to have 3 All-Stars this time, not just 2. That's going to be the difference. He's going to be a legitimate Eastern Conference All-Star at the point guard spot.
Well, there's also some big news from Houston. James Harden was reportedly offered a $103 million 2-year extension. That's over $50 million a year to play basketball. He turned it down, and according to Woj, he said, "Get me to Brooklyn." Jalen, what do you think about this news?
So if I got to think about $50 million or getting to Brooklyn, I'm getting closer to the $50 million. Because if I'm Brooklyn, of course I want to add James Harden. Of course I do. But if you're Houston, well, you better be giving me Kyrie. And since that's not going to happen, I don't see a deal taking place between those two teams. And James Harden, who's been a terrific performer for the Rockets, one of the top teams in the West constantly. He's been an MVP candidate constantly, even winning the award. He's been a scoring champ. If he leaves Houston, he accomplishes a duality. Because if you look at the West, Jacoby, we just saw Devin Booker get CP3. The Splash Brothers are going to come back. We know about the Lakers. We know about the Clippers. Jokic is in Denver. Each team, like Portland has Dame. You go down the line, each team has a great player. That doesn't happen necessarily in the East. So basically, if you're James, not only do you get away from the Rockets, in theory, if you don't feel like they're a contender, you're escaping from the Western Conference. Luka Doncic and those young players like that are continuing to ascend. And the East has been a revolving door. Kawhi goes there 1 year, wins the championship. Miami Heat, 4-5 seed, get to the finals. It's a revolving door. So in James Harden's mind, I want to go team back up with D'Antoni. I want to go team back up with Daryl Morey. And just from a business standpoint, let me point something out to you. When Daryl Morey made his unfavorable comments to the people in China, the Houston Rockets are the most popular team in the NBA in that market based on Yao Ming, which told me unless the Rockets outplay expectations and make it to the finals, I felt like this was going to be his final year with them anyway, because they want to continue to be able to function in that market. So now, with him not being there, if I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm not just trading James Harden unless I'm getting something elite in return. Not going to be able to do it!
Love Spencer Dinwiddie, love Karis LeVert, love Jared Allen, but they are not James Harden. Well, there was another big move in the NBA yesterday. Future Hall of Famer, one of the best point guards to ever play the position, Chris Paul, is now a Phoenix Sun. Jalen, now he was apparently consulted. He wanted to go there and run with Devin Booker. What do you think about the future of the Suns, and what are your expectations for this new nucleus?
Phoenix hasn't made the playoffs in 10 years, and the lower part of the Western Conference is in flux. So if you're Phoenix, there's a legitimate opportunity for you to make the playoffs. You reunite him with Monty Williams, where they teamed up in New Orleans. And so I like what he's going to be able to do for Bridges and aiding those young players, and then taking pressure off of Booker, not only from a leadership standpoint, but allowing him to flourish as a scorer. So this is a win definitely for the Phoenix Suns and putting them solidified in position to be a playoff team.
This is huge for DeAndre Ayton. Everybody's talking about Devin Booker and Paul and Booker playing together. DeAndre Ayton, low-key, was great in the bubble, had a good season last season, and Chris Paul's going to get him so many buckets. Jalen, we're about to be joined by future NBA star Tyrese Maxey. He's going to be drafted tomorrow, and he joins us next. Make sure you stay tuned. You're watching Jalen and Jacoby.
Jalen and Jacoby is presented by Grey Goose. Drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
Don't you think some of those once-in-a-blue-moon moments should happen more than once in a blue moon? Spending some quality time with your family, having a date night with your significant other, or just getting together with your friends on a Zoom call. Well, Blue Moon is on a mission to celebrate and inspire more of those moments. And, of course, I'm talking about delicious Blue Moon beer. Sometimes a crispy, light domestic beer is too light and those heavy IPAs are too heavy. Well, the Blue Moon Belgian wheat beer is perfectly balanced in the middle. It has citrus notes and, of course, that orange garnish that I like to drink down to the bottom and then eat the beer-soaked orange. I love Blue Moon so much. It is named Blue Moon because when someone first tasted it, they said a beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon. So the next time you're out with friends or enjoying a night in with friends, reach for a Blue Moon. It's a beer you can enjoy every single day. And don't forget, you can have Blue Moon delivered by going to get.bluemoonbeer.com. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com, and you can find delivery options near you. Blue Moon, reach for the moon. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Exciting developments are in motion. Dell is officially giving out the biggest deals of the year for Black Friday, and there's free shipping on everything. Yes, everything. Whether it's for work, school, or fun, Dell has you covered with doorbusters every weekday. Accelerate all that you do with next-gen XPS and Alienware machines powered by Intel Core processors. Plus, this huge lineup of premium tech is up to $400 off. Call 800-BUY-DELL or go to Dell.com/Black Friday. That's 800-BUY-DELL.
You're watching Jalen and Jacoby, presented by Grey Goose.
Coming to you live from Pier 17, the South Street Seaport, and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we have the honor of being blessed with the presence of soon-to-be lottery pick Tyrese Maxey joining the program. Salute to you. You are so close to being an NBA basketball player.
Indeed.
Thank you so much for taking the time in advance of the draft to hang out with us. Now, I want to start with this. You obviously are from the University of Kentucky and a Wildcat, and you follow the footsteps of people like Jamal Murray and Devin Booker and Tyler Hero, all of which sort of made a leap from college into the league to make an impact to get to that next level. What does the next level look like for you? How do you up your game when you enter the league?
Yeah, first of all, thank y'all for having me. I'm excited to be here, and it's good to talk to y'all. And yeah, you're right. And I feel like those guys, the Jamal Murrays, the Devin Bookers, the Tyler Heroes, even the Bam Adebayos, if you look at him, the way he's progressed in the National Basketball Association, I feel like those guys, you know, at Kentucky, we have to play a role. You know, we have a lot of different elite guys. Coach Cal does a really good job of making us play together and sacrifice. And then when you get to the NBA, you can kind of show, you know, their entire full package, your entire game, everything that you wasn't able to show at the University of Kentucky.
You and Anthony Edwards participated in the Clutch Sports Pro Day, led by my brother Rich Paul. What was it like basically having a job interview in front of superstars like LeBron James, Trae Young, and my fellow lefty Quavo there to represent?
It was great, man. It was amazing. It was a great atmosphere. You know, me and Ant go way back. We made a good relationship, a great friendship at the McDonald's All-American game. Kudos to him, great player, great kid, even better person. But it was an even amazing feeling to work out in front of those guys like LeBron, like you said, Quavo, everybody, Anthony Davis, the entire Clutch family. And it was great. It was, you know, a cool event. It was crazy to be a part of that first experience, and I think it went really well.
Tyrese, what is it like to look down at your phone and one of the numbers in it is LeBron James? What is some of the best advice he's given you about this process so far?
It's cool to have someone like LeBron James and, like I said, Ben Simmons and those different guys as older brothers. And that's one reason why I decided to go with Clutch. And because it's not just, you know, Rich, it's not just LeBron, it's the entire family. The entire family of Clutch is amazing. You know, it's great to have those guys around. You know, they give you great advice. Like LeBron told me, just keep working, man. The work ethic that I have, he wants me to keep that and you know, take it to the next level. Never get content. And you know, just go 110 every day. Get 1% better every single day as long as you're playing.
Now, obviously, due to the pandemic, this draft is one like no other, and you'll be at home. It'll be virtual. So I have 3 questions for you. What's the fit going to be like? You're going to wear a red suit like my guy Jalen did. What's the menu going to be like, and who's going to be there with you?
The fit is a surprise. The fit is a surprise. I mean, it would have been great, especially for if we was in New York. But, you only get to do this process one time, no matter if you're in New York, no matter if you're at the crib. So I'm going to have fun with it. I already got the fit. The menu, I forgot what my mom had. I think I'm going to have salmon, some asparagus, mashed potatoes, something slight like that. Something healthy as well. And then I think who's going to be sitting right there probably in the camera with me is probably both of my parents. I'm pretty sure my sisters will be, around, and my grandmother. I don't know if my uncle will be around. He kind of like in the cut somewhere, so he may be off camera, but definitely my family. It's gonna be a great time.
When I first got to the league, one of my dreams was to tell my mother that she didn't have to work anymore. Growing up in a single parent household, that was my motivation. Is there something, once you make it to the NBA, that you want to do special for your parents or for your support group that has done so much for you so far?
I mean, of course, there's always something special. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as tell my mom that because she's so independent. She's so independent no matter what. I think she's always going to work. She has a great job, and she's not dependent on me. She tells me every day, my life is going to continue as it normally continues, which is really good. So I think, just bits and pieces. Like my sister's birthday, my oldest sister's birthday, who had to sacrifice so much just because, AAU, I had to travel and do different things like that. And, sadly, I take up so much time from my parents just because, the schedule that I've had over the years. So I think I want to do something special for her. And, her birthday is a week after or something like that. So I'll figure something out and get her something nice and be nice to her in that way.
Well, you play a position, it's sort of a positionless sport, but you're going to be defending players like Dame and Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry, trying to chase him around screens. Who are some of the players you're excited to go up against on both ends of the floor when you start the season in like a month and a half?
Oh, it's a lot of different players. You grow up watching. I grew up liking Dwayne Wade out the league now. And I think after Dwayne Wade left, I felt like the game of C.J. McCollum and Kyrie Irving and the Jamal Murrays of the league, those guys are kind of paving the way for me because they kind of play on and off the ball. Jrue Holiday is a great defender, and I feel like I'm a pretty good defender as well. And Jamal Murray is able to, y'all saw what he was able to do in the bubble. Him and Donovan Mitchell are kind of like, I feel like I fit right in with those type of players. So it'd be amazing to go up against those guys and be able to compete and have fun every single night.
How has it been for you training, getting ready for the NBA draft during a pandemic when we're social distancing, we're wearing masks? What has this process been like for you over these past couple of months?
It's been great. It's been amazing. I mean, it's tough times in America today because of the pandemic and everything that's going on. But I think it's really has helped me keep my head low. I came out to LA in May. I've been out here since May, and I've been working with trainer Chris Johnson. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, I like to be in the gym first before everybody. So when I first got out, he had me my first workout at 10, and I asked him, can we move it up to 6 o'clock? So every day since May, I've been going at 6 o'clock in the morning, first one in the gym, making 800 shots during that period. It's crazy because I've been here since May. So I've seen a lot of different people come in and out of what he calls the barbershop. So, I've seen everybody. They come in for a week, different things like that. Like I worked out with Rondo before he went to the bubble. So that's how long I've been here. But yeah, I did. I worked out at 6. After that, I come over here to sports rehab where I am right now, getting my lift in. So my second workout of the day, I just finished that. Hopped on here with y'all, and then after this, I'll be on my way back to Chris Johnson for number 3 at 10 o'clock. Getting those shots up, getting those reps in, working on the ball handling and different things like that.
So you're from Dallas, Texas. It's very warm down there. There are some teams up north with some picks that kind of where you fall. Like, are you ready to live that Scully winter jacket, Timberland boots lifestyle if you have to?
I mean, at the end of the day, we play basketball inside. I mean, if we was outside playing football or, baseball or something like that, then, it'd be a different story. But I'll just be happy for whoever drafts me and whoever, takes a chance on me, and I'm going to go out there and give my all to the organization, no matter if it's snowing every day, hot every day, raining every day, who knows. But I know one thing that's consistent. I mean, the temperature in the gym is set the same everywhere, wherever you are in the world. So that's going to be the good part about it.
And also, that money is green everywhere, Jacoby, and it cashes because it's banks in every city. It's banks in every city. Now,
it works everywhere,
Tyrese, Exactly. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. I think it's bad for my health. Okay, Jacoby's a Die Easy fan because he's not going to stick to a team too long. You're from Dallas. What's going on with your Cowboys?
I've been the Cowboys. I was born into Cowboys Nation. Like, I was born into it. So it's not optional. It's not optional. My dad, my uncle, grandfather, they were all Cowboys fans. So now I have an opportunity because I don't know, wherever I'll be living, if it's in Dallas or wherever I get drafted to, I'm just gonna adopt that team. So if it's Dallas, I'm gonna stay with them. But I'm gonna go whatever team I go to. That's the football team I'm rocking with. I've been telling people, my uncle and everybody, that's who I'm rocking
Jacoby
with.
loves this. Look at him.
Welcome to the Die Easy fan base. It's so much better over here. You're never upset when you're always front running.
It's easy.
You're a terrific prospect, and I'll make you a promise. Wherever you go, that's where you're meant to be. So many times as players, we sit back and we try to see what roster we're going to fit into, what coach might like our game, and then all of a sudden, the team that actually drafts you is the one that really wants you. So how did going to Kentucky and playing for Coach Cal get you more league ready than most prospects who don't get the opportunity to play for Kentucky?
I think the work that we put in at the University of Kentucky is just at a different level. Coach Cal holds us to a different standard. Like, he told us that, if your end goal is to be a pro, if that's your goal, then I'm going to treat you like a pro. I'm going to treat you like a pro. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to be the one that's making you get in the gym. You're going to get that on your own. So we have to we have to go to get in the gym. We have to have that self-motivation. And I think that's one thing, a professional basketball player needs. Just because, no one's telling you, no one needs to be telling you, hey, you got to get up and get to the gym today. Hey, you got to do this, this, and that. You have to have that your own self-motivation and your own, determination to do those things. And that's what Coach Cal instilled in us, early on.
How do you think homeboy behind you feels about being on ESPN, lifting the 2-pound weights, getting the workout in?
hey, he's up early. What time is it? About 9 o'clock here? Hey, people doing at 12 o'clock, wherever they are on the East Coast, they're not working. He grew up grinding early. Hey, I ain't mad at him.
Salute to him. Tyrese, you are going to be an NBA basketball player in just over 24 hours. We are behind you. We just want to salute you. Thank you so much for your time. And we're so excited to watch you with Jerry West on your chest in December. Congratulations.
Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate y'all's time. Y'all have a good day.
We'll be back with more right after this.
Anytime. You too.
Two of the most important things that you look for when you're looking for insurance are the rate and the service, and State Farm gives you both. State Farm is the real deal in car and home insurance. You can bundle it together, and with the service, State Farm agents are always ready to help with personalized service so you can customize your insurance, and it's all backed by award-winning, easy-to-use technology. You can manage your coverage, pay your bill, file a claim, all with the State Farm mobile app, and it all comes at a great price with even better service. So when you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Jalen and Jacoby is presented by Grey Goose. Drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour.
The 74th annual NBA draft is tomorrow at 7:30 on ESPN. So much intrigue. There'll be trades, there'll be picks, there'll be surprises. Make sure you tune in. 7:30 tomorrow. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, sometimes on social media things get socially awkward. With the addition of Dennis Schroeder to the LA Lakers roster, there's a lot of speculation about Kyle Kuzma's future with the franchise, and that has led to this. If you check out his Twitter page now, it is deactivated. The account doesn't exist. What does that tell you about where his head is at right now?
It just lets me know what I already knew, that fans and media are jealous of my nephew, Kyle Kuzma. That's it. And then when he won the championship, people even tried to slander him further by saying he did not deserve a ring. Here's the deal. He's a terrific basketball player. I'm glad that he disconnected himself from social media because y'all don't deserve to kick it with my guy right now.
Well, sometimes your light doesn't shine that bright when you are playing with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, two of the best players in the league. But Jalen, I think this is good for him. Pay attention to not what's on your phone, but who's in your phone. Sometimes you have to disassociate yourself from the social media apps and just focus on what's important. Congratulations to him. Wish him the best. And also, Jalen, it's a very special show tomorrow on draft day. Who's going to be joining us on Jalen and Jacoby at 2 p.m.?
Two young men that are not only terrific basketball players, but amazing people. Obi Toppin and LaMelo Ball will be here to represent for the NBA draft tomorrow.
That's 2 p.m. tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. We always say we give the people what they want. Part of that is doing podcast exclusive content. Want to thank Tyrese Maxey for coming by. Tomorrow on the show, we have Obi Toppin, and who I consider the number one prospect in this draft. Whether he goes first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, he is, in my opinion, the best player in the draft, and that is LaMelo Ball. He'll be joining Jalen with an exclusive interview. And Jalen, I want to talk a little bit more about some of these moves that were made because we need to talk about this for a long time. Let's start with James Harden. He's working out in Los Angeles with Kevin Durant, okay? They're playing hoops together. They know each other. Everybody knows each other in the league now. And Kevin Durant and him they get to talking, you know? And they've decided that things would be great if James Harden joined Kyrie and Durant in Brooklyn. Whether they're in person or getting the phone with Kyrie Irving, the plan is hatched, all right? Take us behind the curtain. How does it get to the franchise? How does it get to Woj? Like, how does it work then? Because they're hooping together. He's got 2 more years on the deal. Kyrie's like, oh, don't worry. I know how to get out of 2 years on the deal. I did that before. That's doable. What happens next after the players themselves decided that they want to play together in Brooklyn?
So I'm really going to take you behind the curtain. So what ends up happening, Jacoby, is friendships transcend every other relationship in today's sports landscape. If you notice, as much as players want to compete and beat each other, they're also very extremely willing to celebrate one another. It's not a surprise to see LeBron James watching Dame Lillard play and basically tweeting how great he's doing, knowing that he's about to play against him in a week in the playoffs. That's just where it is now. James Harden and Kevin Durant are not only like brothers, but they were former teammates in Oklahoma City. And to be honest with you, there's no way you get to this conversation without some Russ slander.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me say that again.
Went there.
There's no way you get to this conversation. Yeah, there's no way you get to this conversation without some Russ slander. And there are going to be people to say, so what do you mean by Russ slander? It's KD telling James, I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. And then James like, you're right. That's my brother. We represent LA to the fullest. But at the same time, like just for compatible reasons, it's probably not going to work for us. And then you start talking a little further, and then James started telling you, like, I heard this about Kyrie. And then KD's like, oh, really? Okay. And then all of a sudden they finish working out, and then you know what they do? They go in to break bread after they work out. Then they have the off-wax conversations. Like, you know what, dog? There's no reason we shouldn't even be playing together. Like, I don't understand. And then all of a sudden you start thinking, like, wait a minute, but Russ is under contract. Kyrie is under contract. How can we make this work? And then you start to think irrational. We'll just have them trade for you and we'll keep Kyrie. Just tell them you want to get traded. Just tell them you want to get traded. And then James looks down at his phone and it's Tillman Fertitta. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. They want to offer me 2 years. Hold on, I can't really see. My vision ain't the best. 2 years, $103 million? 2 and 103. Like, he look at KD then. He like, dog, it'd be great to run with you, but it'd be a lot better to make $50 million a year to play. And then KD like, dog, we'll get you the bread. You're going to get rings. Dog, don't worry about the money. You got the money. And then all of a sudden, they start texting their agents, start calling the team, and then they come up with all of these things as a player you feel like you could just move on the chessboard that's clearly not that easy. And let me tell you 2 of the chess pieces that are not easy. What's going to happen with Russ? And how could they possibly add James to go with KD and Kyrie? And also, for those that haven't been paying attention, I'm old enough to remember when KD played for the Golden State Warriors. I'm old enough to remember that. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't happy with playing with the Splash Brothers. And nobody moves, nobody cuts, nobody's more effective, nobody's more efficient than those guys. So it must be medicinal involved if KD looks at Harden and looks at Kyrie and thinks he's going to be happy watching those guys dribble all day. Because he will not be.
There's a lot of angles to this. I want to talk about some layers to this from a few points of view. Just let me talk about like 5 people, right?
Okay.
Number 1, let's talk about Silas and Stone. They show up in Houston like, all right, we got Russ, we got Harden. They signed off on our hires. What are we gonna do to sort of add some complimentary pieces? Raphael Stone hasn't even put up like pictures in his office yet. You know what I mean? He's like, wait. James wants demand. He didn't demand a trade, but he wants a trade. Turned down $51.5 million a year, and he wants to go to one specific team. And the offer that team has for me is Jared Allen, Dinwiddie, LeVert, 3 future picks that'll probably be high, and a couple pick swaps that I'm not even going to want. Like, what? You want me to trade James Harden, who's the top 3 MVP, I'm going to guess for the last 4 years, top 3 MVP. So if I'm Silas, I'm like, didn't you, Tillman, didn't you talk to them about me being a coach? Like, I thought they signed off on this. Like, didn't you talk to them? And if I'm telling Fertitta, I'm like, man, my business just got hit, and now my team's falling apart. We got the MVP, former MVP asking out. And if I'm James Harden and Jalen, I don't know this. I'm not reporting this. This is not coming from sources. But if I'm James Harden, I'm like, everyone talking about how I don't perform in the playoffs and when the moment's big. You know what? I'm tired. I'm playing every game. I'm playing 40 minutes a game. I'm playing every possession all season long. And when it gets to the playoffs, I got to do it again. Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of this. You know what would be nice? It'd be nice if I didn't have to do everything on every possession. I'm starting to get later in my career. I'm 32, 33, whatever. It'd be nice if I didn't have to do everything all the time. And if you're Russell Westbrook, you're like, I thought the whole thing was me and you were friends and we had the connection and we were former teammates and we were supposed to build a team together. And now I'm hearing that you and KD are friends and you have the connection and you were former teammates and you're going to build a team together. It's been about 16 months. Like, what happened there? Your response to those angles that I laid out.
I like what you did there, and they're exactly on the money. For Tillman Fertitta, James and Russ did sign off on Silas being the coach. But they didn't sign off on him being their coach long term. They wanted to see him get the job. That's what it sounds like to me. As it relates to the basketball aspect of it, I'm warning you and the fans, Jacoby, to watch for star player mass exodus from the West to try to get to the East, because the East is wide open. See, when you look at the West, when you look at the West, each of the top 8 or 9 teams all have a legitimate all-star player. All of them. Pelicans have Zion and Ingram. Phoenix has Booker, Dame, Luka. The list goes. All of those teams. Donovan Mitchell. And so, for James Harden and for Russ, the breakup means go east. And when Russ gets traded, it's going to be to a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. It's going to be to a team that didn't make the playoffs last year in the East. You know why? Because soon as they sign Russ, mark my words, he going to be dominant in the East. Dominant in the East. Now, it's not going to take away his last 2 minutes of the game decision making. He's still going to have high turnovers. He's not going to be, a knockdown three-point shooter. But the pace that he plays and the intensity that he has, imagine if I'm Charlotte, I'm doing whatever I can to get Russ. Why not?
They don't have a lot.
He signed to Brand Jordan.
They don't have a lot. They really don't have a lot. They really don't have a lot to give up for Russ.
I know, but there are a lot of teams in the East that are irrelevant. Knicks, my Pistons. There are multiple teams that when you add Russ, now they have some relevancy. For James, I think he should get out of his head thinking that he going to Philly without them giving up Simmons, or he going to the Nets without them giving up Kyrie. I don't believe that those things are going to take place.
Yeah, if I'm Raphael Stone and Tillman Fertitta and Silas, and I'm saying LeVert's a great player, and Dinwiddie's a great player, and Allen's really got a great future, and I'm going to have to pay him eventually. Like, no, thank you. I've got James Harden here, and also he's on contract for 2 years, so I don't have to trade him. This isn't like Anthony Davis in his last year. Like, I don't have to do this. My hands aren't tied. We can still work with him this year and try to make him happy here. But one thing I want to say that happens a lot is there's only one ball. Like, remember whenever there's like a big three, like whether it's the Celtics or the Heat, it's like, well, there's only one ball. How are they going to make it work? There's nothing wrong with having great basketball players as teammates. Like, something tells me there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think Kyrie and Kevin Durant are like, I don't think we should add James. I don't know. I don't think we should add him. You know what? We shouldn't add him because that's going to take away from us. Like, no. You want the best basketball players on your team as possible. You want the best team as possible. You want that.
Well, Jacoby, David, I love you. We disagree.
Okay, talk to me.
We definitely disagree, because all great teammates are not created equal, and all stats don't come the same. KD gonna be 50, 40, 90, whether he playing with Russ or the Warriors. But guess what happened when Kyrie played with Boston? He didn't fit. Because they had other great players that needed the ball. He didn't fit. Guess what happened when they paired CP3 with James Harden? James got him out of there because he felt like CP3 was on the ball too much and he was too demanding. And guess what just happened? CP3 now plays on a better team than James does, because he went to OKC and increased his value. Russ went to Houston and lowered his value. And so now, imagine we're starting a game. James Harden and Kyrie Irving dribble the basketball amongst the top 10 people in the whole NBA. When the last time you seen James Harden cut or move or slash? When the last time you see him in a 3-on-2, 2-on-1 break? When somebody else has the ball, James is picking his nose, distorting the spacing, It doesn't mean he's not a great player. It just means he's disinterested without the ball. So I, of course, would love to have 3 perennial all-stars on my team that have the ability to do special things on a given night. But what that's going to become is whoever has 20 in the first quarter is going to be their night. It's going to be heat check. It's gonna be straight heat check. Each guy gonna come out and bomb 5 threes in the first quarter. And the dude that make 4 of them, he gonna shoot the most shots that night. And let's just talk emotion. Have you seen KD be a little sensitive?
Sure.
Have you seen Kyrie be somewhat emotional?
Sure.
Have you seen James be disinterested?
Yes.
So how is that gonna be when somebody comes into the locker room and like, hey, Kyrie, you know, you had 9 points tonight. You know, what do you think about you guys' offense?
I have the antidote for all of this, Jalen Rose. I have the antidote for all of this. I have the antidote for all of this. Winning. Because Kyrie, remember Boston, they had his win streaks and lose streaks and going up and down, and he's unhappy, and Chris Paul and James Harden, they were losing playoff series, like winning. And I feel like in the Eastern Conference, if you have this trio on the team, which by the way, I don't feel like is ever going to happen in real life. If I'm the Rockets, I'm not trading for whatever picks and draft assets and LeVert and Dinwiddie and Allen. I'm just not doing that.
And I'm not trading him to y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't really see that happening. So we might as well stop discussing it. But yes, I do think that there is personality problems and personal dynamics and emotion and people wanting their numbers, and that would be difficult. But I'm of the mindset that if you should want the best team possible, putting those 3 guys, 3 of the, I don't know where we're going to rank Kyrie, but 3 of the top 12 or whatever in the league, you want those 3 on the same team. Because if I'm Doc Rivers, if I'm Coach Bud, if I'm Brad Stevens, if I'm Eric Spoelstra, I'm terrified of this happening.
You ready for this? Okay. I'm going to go each player one by one. KD played with the Splash Brothers, won back-to-back championships and finals MVPs, and was so unhappy that he left. Kyrie played with LeBron James, was so unhappy, wanted to leave. Got traded to the Celtics, terrific organization and great young talent, still was unhappy. James Harden had CP3 on the team, got him moved. There aren't better teammates than the Splash Brothers, CP3 and LeBron James in the NBA, Jacoby. I'm sorry, they don't exist.
I think some people would argue about CP3, but I understand your point. And
so, based on those dynamics, the personalities of those guys, I think, oh man, I feel Steve Nash, oh man, he better get him a therapist.
Steve Nash is like, what is happening? What is happening?
Oh my God. Steve Nash, like, maybe I shouldn't have taken this job.
I was good last year. Steve Nash is going to be bald, big bags under his eyes. He's going to gain some weight. He's going to look like Jeff Van Gundy by like the All-Star break.
They ain't going to listen to him at all. They ain't going to listen to him at all. And Mike D'Antoni has never said the word defense. He has never said that word.
If I'm Raphael Stone, I'm sending a group text to all GMs and saying, don't call me about James Harden, call me about Russell Westbrook. If you don't say Russell Westbrook in the conversation, then I'm not picking up the phone. I'll keep the MVP and the scoring title winner and the guy who we run all of our offense through. Sorry, I'm gonna run it back with him, who's under contract for 2 years. I'm gonna keep him, but if you want to call me about Russell Westbrook, then we can talk. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly.
And one quick thing about the Bucks is, Jalen, I just want to say, they upgraded, but Giannis don't sign. Giannis, I know you listen to Jalen and Jacoby every day. I know your brothers listen to it too. Doncic, the other one, and the one that doesn't play in the NBA. That other guy. I know they all listen to So if you're one of the Antetokounmpo brothers and you're listening to this, text Giannis right now. Text him right now. Text him right now and say, don't sign. Don't sign. Don't do it. Don't do it. Jalen, tell the people who's on the pod tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a very special NBA Draft podcast with two amazing young men who are also wonderful basketball players. Obi Toppin, who, looking at some of the projections, if he ends up with my Detroit Pistons, I'll be very happy about that, Jacoby.
Y'all gonna have to trade up for that.
I'll be very happy about that.
You're gonna have to trade up for that.
And the other one is Jacoby's favorite prospect in the draft, a guy that has been on the show a couple of times and has the ability to get to the league and dazzle. LaMelo Ball. Both of those guys are going to be joining Jalen and Jacoby tomorrow. Make sure you check out the show.
If his name was LaMelo Smith and he went to Louisville, he'd be the number one pick. No one would be talking about Anthony Edwards or James Wiseman, but it's because his last name is Ball and because he's had his own reality show and he played in Australia and played in Europe and played in different high schools. That's why people have these but things about him. But I promise you, if his name was LaMelo Smith and he played for Louisville and had nice stats, nothing crazy, he'd be the number one pick. I really believe that. If you're a GM and you pass up on him, you made a mistake. We'll be back tomorrow with that special draft show. Why is that, Jalen Rose?
We're not done. We're not done. We're not done.